Hi, it's Renee Cohen,
And Debbie Friedman from Caldwell Banker.
and today we're bringing you the latest edition of Renee and Debbie Tell It Like It Is, and we're talking about negotiation. So, Debbie, tell us about negotiation.
This one's a tough one. It starts at the very beginning of the transaction. So a buyer finds a house, and the seller wants to sell. And what do we do? What's the first step in our negotiations?
Well, the first step is to establish good communication with the other party. So, if we're working with a buyer, one of the things we do is we call the listing agent to try to get as much information about the seller and their wants and needs as we can, because that helps us devise an offer strategy. And Debbie, what are usually the important pieces of a negotiation?
Well, sometimes price is the most important thing. They need as much money as they can possibly get. Sometimes a quick close is really important.
Mhm.
Sometimes they need to stay in their house a little bit longer because the school year isn't over, or because they're building a new house, or because they haven't found that replacement property.
Yeah.
And so they may want to rent back. So we want to find out up front what is going to get our offer actually accepted based on what the need of the seller would be.
Right. Absolutely.
Renee, what happens during the rest of the transaction?
Well, the rest of the transaction is a series of negotiations as well. And so when we hit each milestone and things come up, we have to negotiate. And at each stage, the options are yes, no, or maybe. And what we're trying to do is get all parties to the transaction to establish what they want and need, and also to determine what it's going to take to get things and keep things moving. Debbie, tell me about the emotionality of a negotiation.
There's a lot of emotions in a negotiation. Sometimes it kind of feels like a tug of war, especially if we're having the yes no thing versus the maybe thing. The maybe thing is a lot softer and has everybody working together. Sometimes I tell my clients that if we can get everybody equally unhappy, we've been successful and we can move forward.
Right.
What else about negotiation?
You know, it's always good to have a good realtor representing you, somebody who is skilled in negotiation to help explain all the options that you have, help you choose the right one, and help you communicate with the other side so that the whole thing can be successful.
That also takes the emotion from the buyer and seller away, because a good agent can separate that out and just deal with the facts.
Exactly. So there you have it. That's negotiation. See you next month.